So the linking tool is all about making connections between words. But don't take my word for it. Let me show it to you, and then I'll explain how it works. So what I got here is a bowl filled with many tiny words on tiny pieces of paper, and I'm gonna write them down on the board by pulling them out one by one at random. And the first word is fire truck. We get carpet. That's opera singer. Bearskin rug.
Poutine, aviator sunglasses, flower pot, model airplane, encyclopedia.
Ooh, palm tree. And the last word, eagle. 2 birds. Interesting. So now I'm gonna spend about a minute putting those in my brain hole. All right, so I've got my words memorized, and to prove that I am not cheating, I'm gonna cover my eyes. Okay, first word is fire truck, carpet, opera singer, bearskin rug, poutine, aviator sunglasses, flower pot, model airplane, encyclopedia, palm tree, bonfire, running shoes, wristwatch, paper bag, cushion, frying pan, briefcase, night vision goggles, seagull, eagle. Is that it? I think that was it. I think that was all of them. Not that difficult. Let me tell you how. You take the first word and you connect it to the second word, which you then connect to the next word, and you do that visually. And if you want it to really work well, find an emotional attachment. If you think the images are funny, find them really funny. And if you think they're disgusting, actually feel repulsed. So the elements of each picture should interact. I mean, the fire truck gets flipped over by a carpet being pulled out, who's being pulled by an opera singer who's singing opera singing songs, and then he throws over a bearskin rug and like, whoa, he's looking good with it. And then he's eating some poutine, and he puts on some aviator sunglasses, and on the reflection of the aviator sunglasses, there's a flower pot, and the flower pot drops and breaks an airplane model, and there's this like encyclopedia, and he's crying about it. He's like, oh no, that's my airplane model. And then a palm tree just crushes him, and then a dude starts cutting up the palm tree, makes a bonfire out of it, takes off his shoes, throws them in, takes off his wristwatch, throws them in, and then he's stressed out about it, so he's breathing from a paper bag, right? And then the paper bag, and then he sits down on a cushion, on a couch, pulls out a frying pan, pulls out a briefcase, starts frying that up, puts on his night vision goggles, looks up, oh, seagull, eaten by an eagle. Boom, just gotta connect them. So the next time that you're studying, try to remember the linking method and put it to work. Actually, you know what? Try it right now.
Have you ever heard of a mind palace? Well, I'm going to show you what it is and how to use it to memorize anything freakishly fast. It is a crazy cool skill. Check this out. So what is a mind palace? Well, first of all, a few things. Number one, it's not just the work of fiction. It's an actual real thing. Number two, it actually dates back about 2,500 years to 477 BC. It was invented by a man named Simonides in Greece. A mind palace is essentially a room or a building that you have memorized, and you use the locations in that room to store data. Let me give you an example. You go to your friend's house, you take off your jacket when you walk in the door, and then you set your jacket down in a chair. You go throughout the party, you spend time at your friend's house that day, and then 3 or 4 hours when it comes time to leave, you know exactly you need to go back to that chair to get your coat. Why? Because the chair held that coat in your brain. And that is exactly what a mind palace is. If your friend had 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 pieces of furniture, one you could put a hat in, one you could put your keys in, you could in theory go back to each one of those locations and pick up the items that you left. The mind palace works the same way. You memorize locations in a room, and then you later go back to those locations to retrieve the data that you want to remember. The easiest way to build your very own mind palace is to stand in the doorway of every room of your house. Stand in the doorway, start at the left, go around the room clockwise, and pick 5 pieces of furniture. Number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go to the next room, stand in the doorway of that room, and label them 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go to the next room, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. In every single room in your house, pick 5 pieces of furniture and number them going around the room clockwise. A few rules of thumb here. Pick big items. Don't pick small items. And number 2, spread them out around the room. Good items to pick will be things like desks or beds or TVs or refrigerators or stoves or microwaves or sinks or bookshelves or computers. Pick lots of different items, but if you use a chair in one room, don't use a chair in the next. These locations are going to be places where you're going to mentally store data in your mind palace. Now, once you have these locations in your room numbered, then I want you to close your eyes and I want you to say all your files, 1 all the way up to 20 or 30, however many you have, and then backwards, 30 to 1. Say them forwards and backwards over and over again until you know them cold, or until somebody could say what was number 10 and you could say what it was just like that. Next, a common objection to this is sometimes people will say, wow, Ron, this is too much work. You really want me to number all these pieces of furniture in my house and memorize all these pieces of furniture just to memorize a list of words or something else? It's not really true. You already have these locations memorized. I'm not asking you to memorize your house. You already have it memorized. I'm just asking you to number it. And once you have it numbered, it's going to be a crazy cool skill that you're going to be able to use to memorize anything you want. Now, let me give you an example of how you would use this to memorize something. Let's say that you wanted to memorize a list of words, and on that list of words, number 8 was a dog. Well, you've already determined what your 8th file is. Maybe it was your bed or your dresser or a desk or a computer. Let's say it was a computer. If number 8 is your computer and I give you the word dog to memorize, you visualize a dog on your computer. The dog's biting the computer, the dog's barking at the computer, the dog's running around the computer. The more action and emotion you see, the better. Then I say number 9 is water, and let's say that your number 9 piece of furniture is a chair. Well, you see that chair in your brain and you imagine water pouring out of the sky and the water goes all over that chair. Then later, when you want to recall the data, you go back around your mind palace, and on the number 8 spot, the computer, you see a dog, so you know the word was a dog. On the number 9 spot, a chair, you see water, so you know that number 9 was water. You always use every file in chronological order. And what I mean by that is this. If I say number 8 is a dog, and you think, oh, well, my number 13 piece of furniture is the mat where my dog sleeps, so I'm just going to imagine my dog there on number 13. You don't do that. You put the dog in the mind palace in the order that it falls. If it's the first word, you put it on the first piece of furniture. If it's the third word, you put it on the third piece of furniture. If it's the 8th word, you put it on the 8th piece of furniture. You put it in the order that it falls, not where it makes sense in your house. And that's an important tip for the mind palace. All right, guys, that is the Sherlock Holmes mind palace. And I have used it for over 2 decades to memorize all kinds of things, lists, poems, books, and even set the record for the fastest to memorize a deck of cards in the United States.
Great to be here today. This is something a little bit different, although from what I've heard so far, it does touch on some of the ideas I've heard around creating pictures in your mind and creativity. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is some of the principles around how to remember anything, using techniques called creative memorization. Now, creative memorization is actually quite simple, but what it allows us to do is literally memorize information or anything we want quicker, and more importantly, retain that information over a long period of time. So there's 3 techniques I'd like to share with you today. The first technique is called a memory network. Now, what a memory network allows you to do is literally take whatever you would like to remember and remember it in a sequence. The second technique, something which I hope will be useful to lots of people, is the ability to remember names. James is going to help me with that one later. I'm looking forward to that one. And the last technique I'm going to share with you is, again, a simple technique, but very, very effective. And it's called the chain method. And what we're going to try to do, all of us in this room, is remember some of the talks you've seen and heard today at Next Radio. I'm sure it's all going to go swimmingly. So before we do that, I always like to start with a little demonstration. So, in the front row, can you see this number up here? Can you read all the numbers? Fantastic. What's your name?
Ian.
Ian. Hello, Ian. Nice to meet you. Ian, what I'd like to do, so 2 nights ago, I spent some time, like you do, memorizing a 200-digit number. I don't get that much. And so what I'd like to do, Ian, rather than go 200 digits, I'll put you to sleep if I do that, or some kind of trance. Could you just give me any row, and what I will attempt to do is recite the 20 digits in that row. Ian?
7.
7. You sure you want 7?
7.
You don't want 5? Okay, 7. Okay, here we go. 7. Just let me find where 7 is. There's 6. And there's 7. Okay, here we go. Check that I get this right. We have 1, 8, 5, 0, 0, 8, 4, 5, 2, 4, 0, 6, 0, 1, 7, 8, 7, 4, 7, 7. So don't do that works. I was going to do it backward, but that's too flash. Okay, so the first technique we're going to look at is, there we are, memory networks. So memory networks, they are a really simple technique, but are highly effective. And what they allow us to do is memorize information in a sequence. Now, to give you a bit of an insight how this works, creative memorization is very simple. You basically use your imagination and association. And how that works in real terms is you take the information that you would like to remember and you turn it into pictures, images. And then you use your creativity to associate those images together in your mind. Now, all of you here have excellent visual and sensory memories. Therefore, you remember pictures, so you remember the information. So we are going to try and put this into practice. Could I have house lights, please? House lights would be great. So, but to do this, I'm going to need a volunteer. So could I just have a show of hands? Anyone here who thinks they have a really bad memory? Just stick your hands there. Stick your hands there. Oh, straight away. Can you drop here, sir? Can you get around the block? Thank you very much. What's your name? Matt. Matt! Nice to meet you, Matt. Great stuff, isn't it? Right, Matt, you can stand here and just face the front. Now, all you have to do is relax and imagine whatever I say to you in your mind as clear as you can. And you can play along with this. Matt is going to memorize 10 items in sequence. Yes? Let me ask you a question, Matt. What's the biggest thing you've ever forgotten?
My girlfriend's birthday.
Excellent.
But only by day.
Just like okay, so 10 items. Now, just imagine what I say to you in your mind. Here goes, 10 items in sequence. So, I want you to imagine, on your feet is a gigantic bomb. Can you see the bomb? Really see it in your mind, and it explodes. Boom! There it goes. You see that? Okay, next, I would like you to imagine there's lots of balloons attached to your knees. And they're different colours, and maybe your knees start to float up into the air. So there you go, balloons on your knees. Next one, I would like you to imagine a gigantic green leaf, which is really sticky. And I'm going to throw this leaf on your thighs. I'm going to wrap it around your thighs. Well, you can do that yourself, yeah. Imagine wrapping that leaf around your thighs. The next one is a bumblebee. I would like you to associate that in some way to your behind. You do that on yourself. You get your emotions involved, your senses. Okay, there's bumblebee in your behind. The next one, I have a gigantic drill. And I'm going to take this drill and I'm going to start boring a hole into your side. Like as an image. You can see that drill? There it is.
Okay.
That's it. Matt, what is your favourite part?
I quite like the old Renault 4.
Renault 4?
Yeah.
Nice choice. Imagine there's a Renault 4 driving, what colour is it?
It's red.
It's red. There's a red Renault 4 driving around your chest. Super speed, really, really fast. Can you see that? Fantastic. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I can. Imagine there's 2 sticks of dynamite stuck to either side of your neck. So a little bit like Frankenstein. 2 sticks of dynamite. Yeah?
Right.
There it is. Imagine you're wearing a gigantic oxygen mask. And I just want to suck that oxygen. Just breathe it in. There it is. And it's blue. Blue oxygen mask. Fantastic. Imagine I take a big tube of toothpaste and I put toothpaste all over your hair. There's toothpaste all over your hair there. And finally, last one, we're just about there. there's neon lights on the ceiling, and it says the word mat. Yeah, neon lights. There we go. Let's test it out. You can play along with it. Let's see how we've done.
Okay.
What is on your feet?
It's a big bomb.
Excellent.
It blows up.
Superb. What's on your knees?
Lots of balloons.
What's on your legs? What's on your thighs?
The leaf that you're insisting you wrap around
Excellent.
me.
Yes. What is on your behind?
The bee.
Yes. Good, good. What's on your side?
The drill.
Superb. What's on your chest?
A red rifle. Red brown rifle.
What's on your neck?
The 2 sticks of dynamite.
Superb. What's on your face?
The blue oxygen mask.
Fantastic. What's on your hair?
It's all toothpaste.
Excellent. And finally, what's on the ceiling?
My name and lights.
There you go. Now the thing is, Matt will remember those 10 images, not just for the next hour, you can test them at lunch, but not just tomorrow, but 1 week from now, a month from now, even 3 months from now, but doing it one time. Apologies. And it will be stuck there forever. This is one of the most powerful things about memory techniques. Feel free to bring the house lights down. And the thing about this technique is you can make these memory networks up yourself. There's actually an ancient Greek technique. They used to call it the art of memory. And they would use things that they would call the method of Loki. Or in the Romans' times, it was the Roman room method. Or you may have heard of the memory palace. And it's basically, you create a sequence and you store stuff there. So you might use items in a room, locations along a journey, etc. And you can memorize up to hundreds, thousands of things. That's how I memorized a number. Each number was a picture, and I had each picture associated with a person. Okay, James, would you like to help me out in this next thing that I'm going to do here?
What happens if I say no?
Right, we'll see. Just like standard entrance, this bit in front. So names. Very, very interesting. Anyone have a problem with remembering names? Yeah? James. You have to memorize the first 20 people. No. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk you through the process of how you can remember a name. And you can play this right now. Just if you don't know the person sitting next to you, you can try this out. You can find out what the name is, and we're going to create some pictures. But the thing is about remembering names is a lot of it is about conditioning yourself before you meet someone. What you're going to do. So 2 things that I tend to think about. 1, notice where you are. So right now we're in the magic circle, and later on, if I didn't know James and I met him later, let's say in a week's time, the fact that I can remember this place might help me remember your name. The next thing that I do, and this is the thing that you don't tell the person, is you exaggerate something about their face. So you take it in before you meet them, you go, what feature can I then exaggerate? And I create a little caricature in my mind. Yeah, so you definitely don't tell them that. And then you're set up, you're conditioned. I go over, hello, nice to meet you. My name's Mark. What's your name?
James.
James, fantastic. Nice to meet you, James. I've done 2 things. 1, I've listened. Really important, really obvious, but most people don't. They'll hear the name, it's like, oh, what was it? Oh, I'll ask later. No, I'll just leave it. And the other thing that I've done is I've created a picture for the name James. Because I've met lots of James in my time, including James, the picture I have is Jam. So Jam is my picture. So what I now do is I take the feature I've exaggerated, I won't tell you what it was, and I stick it to James. And so Jam, let's just say for example, it was James's hair, he's looking very slick today, you might be taking Jam and brushing it through his hair. Now that memory will stick out in my mind, I won't forget it. So the next time I meet James, hello, it's James, I see the Jam, I remember his name. Now, that's not the end of it, because once I get to know James, I don't need a picture anymore. I just know that this is James. This went into my long-term memory. So this technique is more of a bridge. It bridges the gap until you actually get to know someone. But it's really powerful. But I think we've got coffee after this, so go play with it, go practice out. Thank you very much, James. Thank you very much. Okay, the final technique I'm going to share with you. This goes back, again, a couple of thousand years. It's called the chain method. And with the chain method, we basically take a bunch of pictures and we connect them together to form a chain. So what we're going to attempt to do, and we're all going to attempt to do this in the room, is remember the last 5 talks and the 5 talks we're about to see after coffee. Now, all we really need to do this is have one picture that represents each talk. So in effect, all you're going to remember is 10 pictures. So for example, if we think about lessons from prison radio, fantastic talk, I love that one. You might just imagine a prison. So the fact that I can see a picture of a prison reminds me prison radio. Next we had law for content creators. So for that I might think, oh, what picture can I use? Maybe a lawyer. So a lawyer, law for content creators. Then we had, brilliant top, how we send Benedict Cumberbatch into space. And so for that, we just have Benedict Cumberbatch. You get the idea? So basically, you're making one picture to represent each talk. Now, your natural memory will let you remember lots of facts about that talk. It will bring you back to that point. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a bizarre story. It makes no sense. That's okay. What you have to do is imagine this story in your mind as clear as you can. You ready? So everyone just imagine this. Imagine there is a big, dark prison. Inside the prison is a lawyer. He's trying to get out. Along comes Benedict Cumberbatch. He breaks them out of prison. He flies off into space. Now Benedict Cumberbatch is wearing an advert, just like one of those big placards. Now this ad falls off and it lands on the back of an elephant. The elephant has a very long trunk and it wraps itself around an android. The android is reading a very large story. He takes a story and he throws it at a prep student. The prep student is licking a big tub of butter. He takes the butter and he smears it all over a big radio with pictures. Okay, do it again. I'm going to do it 2 more times, a little bit quicker this time. Imagine it in your mind. You might jump ahead of me. There's a big prison. Inside is a lawyer trying to escape. Along comes Benedict Cumberbatch. He breaks him out. He flies off into space. He's wearing an ad. The ad falls off and lands on the back of an elephant. The elephant is grabbing an android. The android has a very large story. He takes a story and throws it at the head of a prep student. The prep student is licking a large tub of butter, takes the butter, smears it over a radio with pictures. Last time, I'm just going to say the main items. Follow along with me. Prison, lawyer, Benedict Cumberbatch, space, ad, elephant, android, story, prep, butter, radio. Now this has worked. You will all know those 10 pictures. So we're going to try it out. What I'm going to ask you to do is shout out as loud as you can the pictures in sequence. This usually works really well. No pressure. Okay, I will cue you. When I do this, you say the first one, and then I'll cue you for each one. Are you ready? Here we go. And prison, lawyer, Benedict Cumberbatch, space, yes. Elephants. Good. Story. What was that one? Story. Story. Good. Prep. Good. Yes. Radio. Oh, well done. Give yourself a clap. So basically, those 3 techniques you can pretty much use for anything. We've done some simple things there. Actually, the 10 things we did at the beginning, they were elements of the periodic table. Because hydrogen was actually a hydrogen bomb. We had helium balloons. We had a lead for lithium, a little bit tenuous. We had a B for beryllium. You had boring a hole, boron. We had car for carbon. You had dynamite. I was thinking nitroglycerin, so nitrogen. You had oxygen. You had fluorine, like toothpaste, and neon. So there was actually some real information there. It's our way. Maybe not the most interesting of this, but you get the point. You get the picture. So you can apply this in this technique to anything, and for everyone else, it's different. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm around in lunchtime. You want to come and grab me and ask me questions and find out how to remember anything else.
And now we're gonna go faster. Are you ready? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. Everybody Okay. I let you breathe. I can't.
Shaka ho ho ho, 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 shaka ho.
To the next round. Go to the next round. Count as many as you got. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Count karo. I don't know. I hope someone's counting. Counting. Zakir, bade calm and composed. Tapsi Pano, you got 5.
Hey, hello, my name is Szymon Skalski, Szymo. I come from Poland, I'm 25 years old and I've been freestyling for over 10 years. You can
all you need is a when the sun shines. All you need is a vibrant when the sun shines. All you